You live in one of the most lustful and exposed ages in history. Not because men have gotten worse, it's just the opportunities have gotten greater. Internet, media, everything. So you're bombarded by every sort of image and every sort of lustful thing. Young men, if you want to have a passionate love relationship with your wife, guard your eyes. Do any of you remember Cindy Crawford, the famous supermodel Cindy Crawford? Okay? I was listening to her one time. I was on, I think it was CNN or something. I don't know where it was. I think I was in an airport. And she said a statement that I thought was remarkable. She said, what everyone needs to understand is Cindy Crawford doesn't look like Cindy Crawford. And her whole point was, after they take a picture of me, they do all kinds of things. They make my legs longer. If I'm bent this way in that little roll of fat, they take it out. You see, here's the problem, young man. You fill your mind with a bunch of images of something that's not even real. Not even those girls look like that. And then you marry and you enslave your wife. Do you see that? You see how it can mess with your head? You didn't marry a beautiful woman. You didn't do this because our whole view of beauty is just absolutely twisted and perverted. I hate it because it kills women. It kills them dead. That's why one of the reasons why you want to protect your eyes, because the more you protect your eyes now from looking at media and looking at other human beings, the more you will be able to passionately love one woman. Now, another thing that I want you to understand. Notice that when he talks about the devil in Ephesians 6, he says that we wrestle with him. And he doesn't tell us to run. He says wrestle him, wrestle him. But when it comes to youthful lust, he says don't wrestle it. He says run. Let me give you a little principle. You will not be able to be in a relationship with someone of the opposite sex alone for any normal length of time without falling. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen, and you know it. You've already been there, many of you. And when you say falling, you say, well, I haven't... No, falling comes long before what the world today says falling is. You cannot do it. You can't be strong enough to do something that God already told you not to do. Don't be alone with someone of the opposite sex where you can be in a position to compromise yourself, because it will happen if you stay there long enough. That is the biblical mandate. You can't be spiritual enough, strong enough, bold enough, anything else. It's going to happen. So don't do it. Just don't do it. You say, well, that's costly. Welcome to Christianity 101. Welcome. What, did you think you were going to get Jesus without cost? That you were going to go to heaven and be just like the world? No. Sorry. It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. Especially for you guys that are Christians. You get in a relationship with a girl. You don't practice these principles, and one night you just go too far. And you feel, and it doesn't help the relationship. You know, you've got to kiss a bunch of toads or whatever it is before you find your prince. That's not true. More toads you catch, more warts you get. They say, yeah, I'm in love. I go, well, what do you mean? Why do you want to marry this girl? Well, man, she's just beautiful. Okay. And I just love being around her. Great. We can talk. And I just feel like she completes me. She just fills me. I mean, I just want to be with her. And I go, wow. Okay. So, you know, but let me just throw that back at you, make sure I'm understanding you. You want to be with this girl because she meets all your selfish, self-centered passions and desires. Is that what you're telling me? No, that's not what I mean. But son, that's what you're telling me. You want to be with her because she's beautiful. Fine. What happens when she's not beautiful anymore? Secondly, what happens when someone else comes along who is more beautiful than she is, and that person will come along? You want to be with her because you can talk with her. Okay, what happens when you can't talk with her anymore? What happens when someone else comes into your life that you can talk with? You leaving her? You want to be with her because she's lovely. What happens when she's not lovely? Do the unlovely not need love? Tell me, son, I'm confused. Help me out here. Do you see? So much of what we participate in is not true. The whole idea of love. Have you ever heard people say, well, almost every song you've ever heard, we fell in love? Or, man, it was just bigger than the both of us. It overpowered us. It was bigger than the both of us. Do you know what that kind of language does? It allows you to get involved in a relationship you shouldn't be in and consider yourself a victim. It was too big for me. It just took a hold of us both. What did? What? The Word of God has a word for it. It's lust. Lust, which at its root is just selfishness. She had what I wanted. I fell in love. No. Love is not something you fall into. It's not this power that controls the universe. It is a thing. It is a commitment. But here's what I want you to see, the difference in Christian love. I think my wife is beautiful. I love being with her. But the basis of my marriage is this. God has called me with an irrevocable, inexcusable calling to lay down my life for one specific woman all the days of her life and to serve her unconditionally, whether she deserves it or not. Do you see that?